Hi, I'm Deb. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's happening in our country, coronavirus and all that. For some people, the response to the quarantine to coronavirus has been really, really challenging. I know for me, a trip to the grocery store has become the highlight of my week, and now even that is being discouraged. The message here is for anyone that's struggling with this change in their routine, the isolation, sadness, anxiety, and loneliness that can go along with that is tough. Personally, I find all this viral stuff somewhat sterile and lifeless. And many of us crave the connection that in-person, one-to-one contact provides. But this is our reality. This is where we are. So what can we do about it? What do we do now? So what I've noticed with myself, my friends, my clients, are sort of these up and down feelings of anxiety and depression. This can be experienced as having thoughts of being out of control, believing that no one cares, having fears about the future, worrying about getting the virus and dying, feeling lonely, unmotivated, lost, sad, nervous, eating, sleeping too much or too little, and a variety of other thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And all of these thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, they're like enemies that are lurking in the shadow, just kind of jumping out and attacking us when we least expect it. So there are ways to cope, though, with these feelings. You're not helpless. You're not completely powerless against this, but there are a few steps that are involved. So the first thing is that you have to be aware. You have to become aware that you're experiencing these negative thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It's really easy to fall into this pattern of doing these things automatically and believing that what we are thinking and feeling and doing somehow is our reality. Awareness, however, is the first step in choosing to create the reality that you want. So the second thing is to have awareness of your behaviors. So let's start there. If you're eating, smoking, drinking, sleeping, or any kind of behavior that you find bothersome right now, too much, too little, any other kind of behavior that does not serve your well-being, consider any small step that you can take toward challenging or changing that behavior. Just decide on one small thing that you can do and do it. Just decide one little thing that you're going to do, decide you're going to do it, and then go ahead and challenge yourself to do that. And just every day, make that one small change. Once you have achieved that, then decide on another small change. Too often what we do is we decide we're just going to change the behavior in its entirety. And of course that doesn't work. It's too overwhelming with our already overwhelmed systems. So once you've added one small step and then another and another, just keep doing that until you're satisfied that the behavior has been modified. And if you need assistance with this, don't be hesitant to reach out for help. Don't be afraid to do that. Okay, the next step, pay attention to your thoughts. This is so important. Remember that when you're thinking, you're writing your own story. If you allow yourself to think frightening, negative thoughts, that becomes your reality. You must become aware that you are thinking those thoughts, and when you're thinking them, you have to challenge them. What is the evidence that they're true? So if you're thinking something like, I'm going to catch coronavirus and I'm going to die, what is the actual evidence that that's true? I know that people that tend to be anxious and, tend towards anxiety are probably wiping everything down and washing your hands, and you're probably following a lot of the rules that the CDC puts out there. So the evidence is probably that you're taking every precaution that you can. So the evidence probably is not that likely that you're going to catch it. The evidence probably goes against that it's probably more likely that you won't. So you have to become aware of what you're thinking and then challenge those thoughts. Then once you are aware of what you're thinking, try to replace those negative, automatic, potentially untrue thoughts with thoughts that serve you better, are more positive and accurate. Even if you need to replace those with positive affirmations that you're strong, that you're courageous, that just whatever it is that you need to do that replaces those with more positive thoughts that are more uplifting and that serve you better. And then finally, let's look at emotional awareness. What are you feeling? So, feelings that are associated with depression and anxiety. What I have found most beneficial when I find my emotions to be all over the place is to find ways to ground and center myself. There are many ways to accomplish this. Grounding yourself is possible when you bring yourself into the present moment. This happens when you choose a focus for your attention, such as prayer, listening to music, maybe creating something through art or crafts, or meditation, just to name a few. All of these kinds of practices are a beautiful collaboration between your thoughts, emotions, and behavior. So as you practice your grounding behavior, you will notice that thoughts will float into your awareness. That is what your brain does. So there's no need to be upset or frightened. That's what's going to happen. Just acknowledge the thought, acknowledge that it's there, and let it pass by. And bring your attention back to the activity. So if you're praying, just bring yourself back to your prayer. If you're meditating, bring yourself back to the focus of your meditation. If you're working on a craft, bring yourself back to your craft. Whatever it is, bring your focus back to the point of focus. The thoughts anyway are usually about the past or the future, and that's what's causing the negative emotion that you're struggling with. So by practicing grounding and centering, what you're doing is you're staying in the present where you are alive and you have the choice in how you want to live your life how you want your life to be lived. You can choose to feel calm and relaxed and accept that right now, in this moment, you are okay. So my hope here is just to let you know that you're not alone and that this is hard, but with a little awareness and some effort, you can create the experience that you want. And if you find that you really are struggling, don't be afraid to reach out for help. It is available and you matter.